Today I'm going to show you how to do a sculpture. To do a sculpture, we're going to be, first of all, writing our names on the back. And you guys can use the white side, or you could use the cardboard side that's kind of a brown side. So either side works. But on the bottom, you're going to write your name. And I'm just going to use a cardboard side for mine. You can use what you want. We're going to be working with cardboard scraps to build a sculpture. And we're going to be using this extra strong glue. Okay? And we've got some old brushes to put down the glue. Let's get started. The first thing you're going to do with this base is you got to think about, do you want to build a tall one, a tall sculpture? Do you want to have a low one? And how do you want to stack them up? Here's an example of one that I did a couple years ago, and I put different shapes together, and I kind of leaned them up against each other, having them go in different directions. Okay? The hard part and the challenge of this project is getting it to stay before the glue dries, because it wants to fall over. So we have to be very careful and working on strong joints, and they will fall over, guys. Okay, and it will frustrate you maybe at first, so you have to figure out different ways to solve the problem. Okay, so what I like to do is just kind of play around with the different shapes that I have, and maybe even cutting up other shapes as well. Maybe I cut in through the cardboard. And the cardboard is a little bit, harder to cut through, but if you guys cut right back here, if you open up the scissors bigger and put all the way in the back, you should be able to cut through them. You might have to use a little bit more strength than usual, but I think you guys can do that. Okay, so I like to cut up different shapes from the smaller ones I have, and this one's maybe a long, skinny piece, so you can do what you want with the cutting part. And be creative with how you put it together and the shapes that you use. Oops. Alright, so I have a few cut up, and I think I'm going to start off by just getting one piece down and maybe leaning up against it. You could work flat too if you want, and you want to build up that way and stacking them if you can't do that. Sometimes I like to put them together like this though, to see if I can get them to first of all stand up. Okay? So what I do is I take this glue, and it is a little bit thicker than other glue, but you're just going to paint it on the bottom, pretty thick layer, enough so it can kind of soak around the edges too. But when this dries, guys, it's strong. It's very strong glue. Okay, so I put that down, and this one looks like it almost stays by itself, but it will tend to fall over a lot. So we need to have something to lean it up against to make sure it stays. So I think I'm going to paint a little bit more on the edge here, like so. And I might even have this one down on the ground, so I might even paint on the ground here for this one. Okay, whatever works best for you guys while you do it. The hard part is getting started, guys. Once you get the first few pieces on, it's not so bad. And I'm going to put a little bit more glue up here to keep it in place. Wow, but you'll be amazed when you come back for the next art class. You're like, wow, that really is strong. Okay. Ooh, so I kind of like that, and it's pretty strong right now, but I do need to wait for that to dry before I move it around a lot. Alright, so I have some other pieces I could lean up against it. It almost looks like it's a teepee right now. Maybe I want a piece here. I'm going to stack it up here. Put a little glue down on the bottom and right there. Okay. I really like that. That's going to be strong there once that dries. Okay. And I could keep going high. I could work high on this. I could overlap them. I could even, like this one here, I was just working on a little bit ago. It's already drying up pretty good. This I was going back and forth, and I was stacking them up every which way. And I kind of like the design that's starting to form on this one. Okay. You could take one, and it's really hard though once you get it high and different angles. It's really hard to get it to stay on there if you don't have the right setup. Okay, and if it's not dry as well. So maybe I can lean this one up against the side on the other side here. I don't know, we'll see what happens here. What you do is just kind of go with it too. It's kind of fun. You don't really have an idea in mind. You just kind of go with the whole design. and see what happens. Ooh, I kind of like that right there. I might put a little more glue right down here so it can stick to that. Doesn't come apart later on. It likes to do that. It's tricky sometimes, but you just got to keep working at it. Keep putting it back, and just know that when that does dry, it'll be nice and strong. So for today, you're going to build your own sculpture out of cardboard, using a cardboard base and cutting it into making anything you'd like. It doesn't have to be of something. It can be very abstract. It's all about just the way that you put it together. Alright guys, good luck with your cardboard sculptures today.